A big welcome from the African Web Summit today to my guest, who is Eric Edelstein, who is an absolute mentor and privileged to have us here, to have talking to us today. I'm completely starstruck as I'm talking. He is the co-founder and CEO of Evly.com. So if you don't know what Evly.com is, go to their website after this interview, Evly, that's EVLY.com. And he's also the chairman of a very cool t-shirt company with a difference called springleap.com, another site which you should definitely check out. It's really, Evly.com is a site that blew me away when I started looking at it, Eric. And you seem to really embrace the idea, and I suppose the surge in media terms of crowdsourcing. I know even myself talking around the room, I can talk to 10 different people and get 10 different terminologies of what exactly crowdsourcing is. So maybe no better man to ask than yourself to give us a quick description of what crowdsourcing is.
So good morning, Greg, and it's wonderful to be here.
Thanks.
And it's good to meet you. And I have to say, I love your t-shirt. I think
so much.
Should have been one of the Springleap t-shirts, and I definitely think we need some sort of competition in that line. I think it's wonderful. I'm staring at it and I'm thinking to myself, what an amazing t-shirt it is.
Oh, you humbled me.
Jeff Hull came up with the term crowdsourcing in 2005, and he was one of the top people at Wired magazine. And he defined crowdsourcing, but in reality, crowdsourcing is nothing new. It's been there for many years. The first example that I read about was in 1895, when they brought together 300 people in a farm, and they tried to work out what the weight of a cow was. And what happened is that they took the average number of votes, and it was exactly the weight of the cow, even though none of the individuals could come even close to what it weighed. That's the power of crowdsourcing, getting people involved together in the process in order to really figure out solutions, problems, and at the same time engage people in the process. To give you another example, which I really like, there was a gold mine in Canada, and they weren't quite sure where the gold reserves were. And it got to the stage where the gold mine was actually going to shut down because they couldn't find new reserves. So at the last minute, they decided to run a crowdsourcing competition, and they allowed different types of people, such as scientists, mathematicians, university students, and other intelligent people who had an idea of how to find gold reserves, and they offered them a $250,000 prize. And they uncovered billions of dollars of new gold on this gold mining in the middle of Canada. And today, this company has become a very successful gold company because of that. So that's the power of crowdsourcing. It's getting the crowd involved. Sometimes it's to get them involved in order to do branding. And sometimes it's to get them involved in order to interact in the process and actually create solutions for different types of projects.
Fabulous, beautifully put. And now I sound far more intelligent when I'm sitting around a table talking to friends about crowdsourcing. So tell me exactly what Evly.com is and what it's doing around crowdsourcing then.
So Evly is a social media website, and we're focusing it on crowdsourcing and crowdfunding. And to give you a quick overview of what we're hoping to achieve, we're allowing brands and other organizations to build crowdsourcing and crowdfunding applications. And when I speak about those terms, I'm talking about idea generation, idea feedback, running contests in order to get the crowd engaged, doing market research, and it even can go as far as raising money for different causes. And you can even take the concept of crowdsourcing to say it includes Groupon, group buying, and those type of areas where the crowd gets together to work out whether they can buy something together. So what Evly does is we're providing a number of templates and wizards, which allows people to build crowdsourcing and crowdfunding applications. And our model is flexible enough that we really can cater for all the different types of needs and requirements out there. We then give you the viral tools so that you can invite your community in. And what we do on top of that is we then suggest the right challenges to the right people within Evly to find more people to get involved with your challenges.
Wow, okay, so that sounds like a really exciting project. I mean, Evly.com looks pretty groundbreaking, and I suppose it's the groundbreaking thing that you're doing, and probably a lot to do with your sheer passion and dedication, Eric, that has done something that I think is very inspirational to any entrepreneur sitting in Africa wanting to break into international markets. correct me if I'm wrong, but I read that you've raised, between yourself and your partner with Evely.com, over $1 million in investment at the moment for the project itself, and you're still going strong, still going to meetings and still getting interest from entrepreneurs and investors from around the world. How did you do that?
I guess let me take you back slightly and tell you what happened with Springleap. So we decided to build the Springleap platform, and for those of you that don't know, Springleap is a crowdsourcing company focused on t-shirt design. And so every 2 weeks we run a competition and designers from all over the world submit their best designs. And instead of us choosing the winner, the general public choose the winner, the same as would happen on American Idols. Yeah. And we found that to build this type of website was actually a lot more complicated than we thought, because building the platform with all the different voting algorithms and all the different methodologies in it took a lot of time and brain power, and obviously it cost a lot of money to develop. And the second problem we found is, how do you build a community? So Springleap at the moment, we've got a great community of designers, and we've got a great community of people that are interested in voting on the designs, but it took a long time to actually make that happen. And we said to ourselves, if you're a big brand out there, or if you're a small brand, such as a restaurant or a yoga studio or a lecturer at university, and you want to start engaging a crowd to do some sort of crowdsourcing or crowdfunding activity, how do you build the software and how do you actually bring the crowd in? And so that's where the concept of Evely was born. And we presented it to a number of angel investors in South Africa, and all of them actually liked the idea. We raised our first $500,000, and we've used that to develop the platform. What then happened is we realized we needed another round of funding, and so we put together a round of $1.5 million, and our original investors came along and gave us another $300,000 as part of that round. So that's where the $1 million that you're talking about is coming from. And we've now got commitment from other investors in the US for nearly 700,000 more. So we've probably got another $500,000 to go to close this round. And then we're going to take the platform to the next level in terms of getting organizations such as all of you guys out there to start using Evely, and then obviously to make sure that we can develop the platform even better.
Yeah, fantastic. I mean, it's just mind-blowing. I mean, it really is from an entrepreneur, which I would like to call myself, who's probably at the beginning of my journey, to see the great success that you've done. What's the secret? I mean, I'm sure along the way there's been plenty of knocks, and it's required a hell of a lot of determination and persistence to keep going, and self-belief. What's the secret?
So Greg, you've got me smiling here, because when you said there've been a couple of knocks along the way, I think all us entrepreneurs know that it's more on a daily basis that there are knocks. Yeah. So it's currently early in the morning here, and I'm sure by the end of the day I would have had 3 or 4 big highs of things that have happened which I'm really happy about, and probably a dozen things which have knocked me off my toes. And the advice that I always give to people when they ask me what makes a good entrepreneur is simply the ability to keep standing up. So every time you get knocked back down, realize that there's the light at the end of the tunnel, stand up again and just keep going. Because that's the only way you're going to reach the end of your goal, reach the objective, is you just keep going at it. And it doesn't matter who you are as an entrepreneur, there's always going to be pitfalls along the way. And what needs to happen is you just need to move through them, move around them, get over them, and focus on actually achieving your goals and ambitions. So there's many different things that you can speak about entrepreneurship, such as passion, such as knowledge, such as expertise, background, having the right contacts. In my mind, the thing that will make you successful in the end is the ability to just keep going forward, even when it looks the bleakest.
Yeah. And that's sound advice, and that's inspired me. I might even work an extra hour tonight just because you've inspired me. Brilliant advice. We are very, very privileged and extremely excited about the Web Summit coming up, and to have the likes of the inspiration from the likes of yourself coming along means a lot to us. What would you like to see, and what are your hopes with the Web Summit in September?
I think that Africa as a whole has unbelievable potential. They've got amazing entrepreneurs over there that perhaps don't have, number one, the support, maybe 2, the mentorship, and number 3, access to funds that will allow them to take their ideas and position them both in Africa and potentially create global companies out of it. And I'm hoping in my mind that bringing together a number of us entrepreneurs from around the world to go in there, number one, will allow us to see what's actually happening for ourselves and see how we can contribute to the different economies. Number two is see some of the people that are doing real projects and maybe help them or advise them on how they can take it forward. And number three is collectively, through crowdsourcing, work out ways of actually changing Africa so that it can become a more tech hub of the world. When I look at Silicon Valley, which is where I am at the moment, and I've been here for a couple of months now, and I look at what they're doing here, it's very evident to me why they're successful and why other places in the world aren't as successful. And I know that Cape Town at the moment has got the most amazing initiative called Silicon Cape, which was started by friends of mine, Justin Stanford and Vinnie Lingham. And Vinnie's actually one of my old business partners. And the idea of Silicon Cape is to try to turn Cape Town into a new tech hub of the world. Now, I believe that many cities in Africa could become their own Silicon Valleys of the world. And there's so much potential, but what needs to happen is that there needs to be mentorship, there needs to be guidance, and there needs to be inflow of capital, and then it can happen. Some of the entrepreneurs obviously are early stage and they need the mentorship to move forward. And some of them need the funding. And some of them, even when they fail that first time, in America, that's seen as a good thing. Yeah. It means that you've got your wisdom and you've got your experience and you've gone through your learning curve. And now you've got your experience to actually take it to the next level. Unfortunately, in some places around the world, and I know this is a situation in South Africa,
yes.
When you fail, people think you failed,
yes.
And that's the end of the line, where that really should be the start of the journey, and that gives you the expertise in order to be successful in your future ventures.
Yeah, absolutely spot on. I mean, there's so many countries, and even in Africa, it's the fear of failure. And certainly in the likes of the US, they seem to certainly embrace failure as certainly a catalyst to success. So, brilliantly put. You're such a busy man, Eric, so I really appreciate you talking to us this morning. And I do know that I'm going to be fighting a little bit in September to get my front row seats to hear you speak, because after today, I'm sure you have a lot more fans and a lot of people that are looking forward to seeing you in September. So thank you so much for your time.
It's my first trip over there. I'm looking very excited to being there. And just to speak to as many people when I'm over there. And if anyone's got questions for me before then, send me an email. My email address is Eric, E-R-I-C, @evly, EVLY.com. And let's start having conversations before I even get there so that we can work out how to solve these issues that we're being faced with.
Sounds brilliant, Eric. You're an absolute gentleman. Thank you so much today. And hopefully there'll be lots of highs todays and very few knocks for yourself. So have a great day and thanks so much.
Take care. Goodbye.